How do we take the square root of expressions with higher exponents than what we're used to taking the square root of? Okay, in the previous video, we learned how to take the square root of normal numbers the more formal way by breaking it down into the same number that multiplies twice with itself. We also did it with variables. We broke down x squared into this x times x. So the square root of x squared is the same thing as the square root of x times the square root of x, which is x. What about the square root of x to the 6th power? Well, if we kind of break down how many x's there are 6 of them. That's why it's x to the 6th power. X 6 times. So I'm going to do 6 of those root x's. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. When we're taking the square root of something, we are very, very interested in how many pairs there are. So there's one pair of root x's, another pair of root x's, and a third pair of root x's. We already know that if we have root x times root x, we get x. So root x times root x is x. Another root x times root x is x. And then a third root x times root x is x again. Well, we have 3 x's. Or in other words, it's not 3x, but when we do x times x times x, we get x to the 3rd power. We get exponents when we're multiplying something times itself again. It's not 3x. When we have x times another x times the same x again, that by definition is x cubed, or x to the 3rd power. You can do this more formal method for any even exponent you want. So if you were to ask yourself, does this method work for x to the 20th power? Absolutely it does. You might also be wondering, is there a pattern here? You might notice that this x to the 6th here, when we take the square root, gets us to half of its exponent. You might also notice that x squared, half of 2 is 1x. That pattern absolutely does follow for any exponent you want. Thank the math gods. So the square root of x to the 20th power absolutely is x to the 10th power. The square root of x to the, you could do anything you want, to the 100th power absolutely is x to the 50th power. And if you don't believe me, I challenge you to write out 100 of those root x's if you care to. So you can do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, all the way to 100, and find your pairs, and you will get 50 pairs of x's. So that would be x to the 50th power. This works for any even exponent when you're trying to take the square root of it.